Hi,
Hi. It took us a bit to get going, but we're here.
you're
Uh,
here.
yes, we are. So I think it's relevant to talk about like what's happening, presently with this quarantine going on, and what I've noticed happening with people, specifically my own family and my own kids. I thought, it's a good idea to maybe talk about making sure that we stay grounded and not get caught up in this little pause that's been happening in our life right now. Eventually, life is going to go back to normal, but just to know that, to make sure that your personality is not changing while you're going through this is, my main concern. And the thing that I tell my kids is, we don't want our habits to change because, yeah, we're all sleeping in and we don't have that much to do, but then laziness gets, kicks in, and then new habits develop because, as we all kind of know, it takes 21 days for your mind to develop a new habit, a habitual way of behaving, habitual way of acting. So we have to be mindful of the personality that we're going to have after all of this is, said and done and it's gone. So that's something that I wanted to discuss today. What are your thoughts and feelings about that, Jana?
Yeah, no, I'm completely with you because I'm part of the some of people that actually freaked out in the beginning and stuff, and definitely had some anxieties and didn't know which corner to hide in and what to do and stuff, especially after listening or reading or listening to the news and stuff. So that's just something I'm sure a lot of people going through, like you just said. But I think it's super important to really come down and do your own analysis in a sense of what's really going on, what you need to follow through with, meaning like protocols, and don't be oblivious to things. Oh, it's not going to happen to me and stuff. However, you do have ways of not just stay safe and stuff, because it's not the first time that we're going through something like that. It's just publicly blown up this time.
Right.
But also I think it's important to realize that, like you said, the personality, right? So some people are just completely given and just having their mind control them completely, and then god forbid, stuff happens with them, with people
Right.
like that. So with me personally, I actually was guilty of it for the first couple of weeks, and then I kind of like got hold of myself and realized that um, to-do list on a daily basis, get busy, and the mindset, like you said, of what's going on, but what you need to do in order for you to stay well, because yes, we're going to be let out hopefully soon. And
Yeah.
then what's then, like when you are back, and then you, like you said, the laziness kick in, and my kid too, basically, were guilty of that. So but here's what I did was I personally, in order for me to kind of like and I know nobody likes to force themselves, so it's cool, I get it. But I start right before actually the quarantine kicked. Then I start walking my dog in the morning, and kind of like I called it talking to myself. Later on, I find out it's called meditation. So it helps to just it helping me now right now too. So you do that and you force yourself once, twice, three times, and then your body actually kind of knows that you're doing it. So it's gonna give in, and it's gonna be easier for you to just do something like whatever you need to do, whatever you need to follow through with in order for your mind to be well. So I totally,
Because
you're
everything
absolutely
goes
right.
into a, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it does go into a comfort zone where it's comfortable. And then anytime you want to make a change, it doesn't want you to make that change because anything that's different than its comfort zone is an unknown to it. So, it'll try to resist and tell you things like, oh no, you're comfortable doing this and you don't want to do that. And, it's basically the mind, the job is to protect you, and anything unknown is a danger. And what I was also going to say is that, this whole thing with the virus has caused people to go into stress mode. They don't realize that all these fearful thoughts that, they don't know what's going to happen in the future. And they have scenarios in their mind that comes up. And then, they think of all the fearful things that can happen. So what it's doing is causing people to go in that fight or flight mode much more often than the body should really, because then once we go into that mode, then the body stops regenerating, it stops rejuvenating. It's basically in fight or flight mode. and the immune system isn't working as well anymore. So it's important to know if you're in that state and if your body is continuously in that state throughout the day, because a little bit of, stress mode is normal and natural and your body can handle it. But if you're in that state throughout the day, guess what? You're damaging yourself. You're damaging your mindset. You're damaging your physical capability to fight anything off. And it's really important to become aware of what's going on with you. So like you said, like a to-do list is a good thing to do, because then it keeps you grounded in the present, and also what your future responsibilities are, or what you should be doing to keep yourself sane, basically. So
that's one, but there's a big thing is what you talk about, the stress. Let's talk about stress. I personally myself, I told my husband in the beginning, on the first 3 weeks or so, I told him I think I'm just gonna kill you without really realizing it. I just killed you, just because it's just anything, small things, it's just blown up to the point of no return, just because of so much more stress add up to the regular life. Like we have a stresses, right? Causing us a lot of problems, but this one is like exaggerated to the point of no return. And this morning I actually got a text message from a good friend of mine. They've been married for the longest time. They have 2 beautiful kids and stuff, and the husband is the nicest guy. The wife is very nice and calm and never raise her voice and stuff. And she just texted this morning and she goes like, I could not believe it. I was actually ready to take a glass bottle, and throw it into his head. And it was over the garage issue.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whoa, it's just hitting you a little bit later, girl. So mine hit me in the first 3 weeks. Now we're kind of cool, because I realize that what he's going through, he understand what I'm going through, because we're going through different things. Like we taking things differently, we accepting things differently, we dealing with things differently, like all of us, right? And then I just realized it, how he's dealing with it. I try to kind of like be with him in his time, and then hopefully he's trying to do the same with me. But also like a smallest thing, it's just like
Well, that's people, that's my main concern, is that people sometimes don't realize going into this and then coming out of it, they become a different person, and their personality changes because of the new thinking patterns and the stressful thinking patterns that are created. So I think, for me, it's important to stay grounded. We go through that initial 2 to 3 weeks of, oh my God, what's going on? What's going to happen? What's going to be our future? But then once you start adjusting and start telling yourself thoughts of relief that everything's going to be fine, and we don't have to turn against each other, and we can get through this together, basically, because as humans we do support each other. Once we get done with the whole try to protect myself and self-preservation, we realize that we actually do need each other to be able to make it through this. But I think for me, an important thing to create is once we come out of this, maybe a vision board of what it is what your goals are, basically. Still have your goals and your future expectations of who you want to be, the kind of person that you still you don't want to become a fearful person and be suspicious and think that the world is still out to get you. So I think creating a hero version of yourself every day, looking at it and saying, this is who I want to remain. I want to remain calm. I want to be grounded. I want to know that I'm still goal oriented and that I can still achieve the goals that I have set for myself. I think that's a really important thing to do, so.
Yes, for sure. And then I did that board some time ago. And then because my job is actually I'm actually doing my own I work from home and stuff. I'm one of the lucky ones can work from home, and I can do a lot of things over Zoom and over the phone and talking stuff, so I don't really need to go out and do things. I can tell you that I think that came in my life on perfect timing because of this. So it really helps me. So first 4 weeks, I couldn't understand my husband. He works too. He goes to work, but I couldn't understand him because I am busy cooking, cleaning, cooking, cleaning, preparing, thinking, and working in between, and doing the things, and doing this and this. So I couldn't really relate to him. before. And I'm like, oh my God, man, do something. Like, seriously, find something to do. Let's do gardening. Let's do something. Anyway, so, but you're right, because you have to stay focused. You have to stay focused on this is temporary, and better you handle the situation right now, stronger you're going to come out of it, more you're going to be able to accomplish later. And you'll see how much it's going to show you the difference on who you really is, if you handle this right now correctly.
Right.
It's a magical moment. I call it magical moment. And you got to learn on your mistakes.
Right. And if nothing else, it's going to give us so much more confidence that we can overcome, this
100%.
challenge, or because really we're very, very fortunate to live in this country, and we really have very good lives, most of us. So sometimes, it's a big deal to go through this, but, to like other parts of the world, it's, maybe not as significant, but regardless, we are all in certain situations that we deal with. But I think the most important thing is to really, be mindful of what your state is at all times, every day, because you need to take into account what thoughts you're thinking, what percentage of the day, and if you're continuously thinking fearful thoughts, if you're in a state of stress, and if you're, yelling, screaming much more than you usually were, guess what? Your habits are changing, your thoughts are changing, your emotions are changing. And once, your thoughts and emotions is what creates your energy. And if you do this on a continuous basis, your personality will change, new neural pathways will be created in your mind, and you will come out a different person. So be mindful of that. You're
not the person you want to be, right?
Exactly. You don't want your personality to change, because people do change through trauma. They do. And they either change for the better or they change for the worse. And that's all up to you.
And it's all in your hands. So we're gonna wish people to stop for a second, breathe, take a deep breath, sit down, and just through whatever it is, meditation, or just listening to your inside, or just talking to yourself, like realize what's really going on, reality, like face the reality, what's really going on inside you, like what stage are you in, like before you can make any changes or do anything or accomplish anything, you need to realize it, who you are and what you wanted to accomplish. And you need to take a breath, and it may not happen first time, and try it again in the afternoon, or try it whichever the time of the day would be best for you. But I think it's really important for you to sit down and realize who you are and what you need to do and what you're capable, because we're capable of anything we set our minds for. It doesn't matter if your mama were your supporter when you were younger and told her you're the best thing ever happened to this world, or you never received any of this love and you're just doing it all by yourself. I promise to you that you really accomplish anything. You just need to understand that who you are, where to start from, what the goal is, and how to get there. And I think the next time we can talk about actually taking steps from this realization to actual action.
Right. I think it's very true. And I think that the most important thing is to be mindful and to make sure that, you are conscious that you are heading in a certain direction, because we really are in control of our thoughts and our emotions. And if that's something that you don't realize, it really is truth. And if you need help, and if you need tools in how to maintain your mental well-being as well as emotional and physical well-being, reach out to us. I have a lot of tools, and I'm sure Jana has a lot of tools that, she can assist with also. So, my number one thing with this video is just become mindful of who you're becoming after we come out of this quarantine. So that's, I think, the big message that we wanted to get out with this,
Yes. Yes, for sure. So yes, absolutely.
All right.
So it was good seeing you today.
Nice seeing you.
Bye.
We'll see you next time. Bye.